Hi guys, it's Brennan here. Uh, another week of Charlie's and Coffee. So this week will be a little bit lighter. We have a couple updates on the company, but we're deep in building mode. Have a bunch of different things coming out here shortly. But to keep you aware, one of the things that you will see is that we will be releasing the playground, the second version, to a more public audience. So the model will be available to everyone. You can invite your friends. So if you already have access to the playground, feel free to just click the button in the this versus that section at the bottom left-hand corner, and you'll be able to invite folks. But the next model comes out today. So you'll be able to send that model out. One of the main points of improvement is that it will be a longer context window as well as longer writing capabilities. So we can go up to 2,000 words with some of the pieces that Charlie is creating in Charlie 2.0 model. So that should go live a little bit later today. We will share that with all of you, but now you'll be able to invite friends. Thank you all for the this versus that participation. We'd like that to continue if you can. We've had a couple of you do quite a bit of rating, but the really awesome part is that 85% of all choices of us versus OpenAI in a blind taste test, we are actually winning, which is pretty incredible for a team of 4 people and really a team of 2 people, Despina and Costas, building great AI models. So that's pretty amazing. We are going to make that available a little bit later today. Another thing that you guys have been asking about is having content repurposing with a open-ended capability. So that will be going live hopefully here today. There's a couple kinks that we're still working out, but think upload something and then give some instructions on the back end as to how it can be utilized. So our hope is that that goes out today, but for the most part, just wider updates. There's been some bugs that you guys have highlighted, so we've made sure that we push some updates for that as well. And we're going to get some new capabilities coming to the platform very shortly. On the other front, you may have seen the press release if you follow the press, but we have announced the SRI partnership publicly. That's really awesome. We're recruiting some additional capital partners, so a very sincere thank you to those that have made themselves available for diligence. That's just amazing. To be honest, I was teary-eyed whenever I saw such an outburst of people that were willing to help with that. Additionally to that, we are also getting close to launching the AI agency page. So I know many of you have already submitted to be able to provide your services via that page. We're getting it stood up. I think that's a really great initiative that we have where you guys will be able to sell your own services using Charlie and get some more brand visibility and backlinks as well. So that should come very, very shortly. But I think other than that, those are the major updates for this week. I'll answer some questions, but the rest of the time, I'd love for you guys, if you're running into any issues or you have suggestions with the new UI or even ideas for new capabilities that you want in the platform. We've cleared many of the ones that we were already working on. And so want to make sure that your guys' feedback is coming in for the next set of roadmap updates that we're going to build. One of the things that we are also thinking about heavily is consolidating things down into more of a chat interface. So think bringing content repurposing, bringing some of the other capabilities into a mostly chat-based interface. It seems like that's where everybody seems to be going and everybody seems to be learning. The thing that we didn't like about the chat interface is it takes a lot longer for the chat to learn you, and it also doesn't allow a templated experience. So you might be answering questions forever just to get to the answer that you want. We want to get you there as quickly as possible with a final draft of the content that you're creating. We want to make sure it's factual. So we're considering that. So if you have any considerations where other chat products have fell short, we'd love to answer any of those for you. So I'm trying out the playground, need to test a bit more. Great. Charlie's a fast growing pup. I noticed some issues in the YouTube to blog part, but I think it's just occasional hiccups. Yeah. So the YouTube to blog piece, we investigated, looked into it. One of the things was there was a high traffic period earlier this week, and that seemed to be the day where much of that was coming up. We've installed some infrastructure updates to hopefully avoid that happening in the future. But it actually happened to me on a live demo, so that's not very fun. We don't want that to happen to you guys. So hopefully that issue is resolved now. And then content repurposing with the ability to write a response with an intent or rebuttal. Interesting. So you would put text in and say, hey, can you write a response to this? Yeah, that's possible. You can, depending on the type of content that you're talking about, Dan, you might be able to do that through the chat capability. Depends on the length of the content that you're referring to. The UI, I got confused because it split the screen. Yeah, the pain. I kind of agree. We were looking at the UI as a way for a power user to create a whole bunch of content in one document at once. So we've had a bunch of users where they'll go create a blog, they'll go create a social campaign, they'll go create a whole bunch of other little smaller pieces for a given client, and they'll do it all in one document. And so we wanted to take the creation space and put it over to the left, and then the stuff that you liked, you could pull over to the right. There's a couple problems with that UI idea. One is that if you do a campaign's worth of content output, it's very crowded there on the left. You can't port over just an individual post and leave the rest of them on the left-hand side. Completely agree there. Another part is that it feels a little bit messy. It feels a little scrunched in the document itself. And so we're looking at ways to help with that. But I think I like that it's on the left-hand side. I think at first it's a little jarring, but once you start using it a lot more, it's a super simple way to have like your creation space and your assistant be a separate capability. We are looking at ways to simplify the UI. So if that's the feedback from many users, then we'll definitely look at revamping it to where it's more standardized. Here's your inputs, here's your outputs. The one thing that I didn't really like about that from other products is if you want to create multiple pieces of content at once for one project, one document, you can't do it. You have to like choose that, and then you have to put it into a new document. It seemed a little bit weird to me that the input and output area weren't independent of like your actual creation space. So that's something we're thinking about, but that's great feedback. Any feedback like that is helpful for us to make sure that the product is improving to fit your guys' needs. Couple things kind of coming on the horizon while we're here and other people are sharing their own pieces of feedback. So we're nearly closed on our very first round of fundraising, which is awesome. It takes forever to fundraise in the current environment. But you're going to start to see us consolidate the UI down into a chat-based interface, which we already talked about. But the playground is going to be where Charlie's capabilities start to shine first. So the playground will be more of our beta testing, sandbox, playground, dog pen, dog house, whatever you want to call it. And then the product itself will be where we bring those features and capabilities into the platform as they're more ready for prime time. We envision that Charlie will be a multimodal model, so that means images will be improved in the very near term. That means that images and text will be possible as a single prompt. We're going to bring back image to text capabilities because it will be a much more rich product. We'll also bring back image in painting as well. So many things that are coming down the pipeline, but I know there's a bunch of questions about like video splicing, images, those sorts of things. Video splicing is a very difficult thing to do, but if there's enough demand, we will consider pulling that into the platform as well. This summer, the team is going to be hard at work building a bunch of new products for you, but also getting Charlie to be the best model on the market. 80% of all of OpenAI's traffic is for marketing. And so we're building the marketing model that can go toe to toe with OpenAI. I completely agree with this user. The chat type is for momentary things, but putting those things into a document will be a great way to look back at things. I completely agree. I like being able to port in any part of the chat to the actual document page. If I think about writing text or creating images, most of the time I'm creating that document and then I'm taking that document and I'm copying and pasting elsewhere. Important to know, if you have a team member, you can also share the link of the page that you're working in and they'll be able to access that, which is pretty cool. Another thing that we've thought about is integrations or posting. So I'm curious, the group that's on this call, would you guys be more interested in a Chrome extension or something where we could integrate with, say, WordPress and social media sites. If you could do it straight from the UI, that's kind of one thing we're exploring. But I've also explored, well, you could just do a Chrome extension. So there's a bunch of different ways that we're thinking about integrations, thinking about this being used elsewhere. But that's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is, if we're going to take Charlie outside of the UI, would you rather have it an integration from the existing UI, or would you rather have a Charlie that goes with you in a Chrome extension? Okay. Got it. Awesome. This is great feedback. Thank you all. Chrome extension. Okay. That's kind of what I figured you guys would say. So that's awesome. The Chrome extension, I think, is a huge, huge win. It's something I've wanted for a very long time. We've been focusing on making the UI a little bit more usable, but I think that if we have our own AI and we want to be the best AI, then we should just meet everybody where their interfaces are and do it that way. Okay, great. This is awesome feedback. Um, Anything else on your guys' mind? I'm here for a little bit. We've got 30 minutes. If there's questions that you want answered, please let me know. More than happy to. I think you guys have been awesome, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting the answers to your questions. Cool. All right. It sounds like there are no questions from the audience then. So we'll go ahead and give everybody some time back. Next couple of weeks, we'll have a lot more demo-driven Charlie's and Coffee. This week was Death by Zoom. So more importantly, we have some great updates coming for you guys, and I'm excited for you all to see them. Thank everyone for joining, and we'll talk again soon. Happy fetching.